Welcome to the digital presentation of Change or Die versus the Fifth Discipline. Who is Al Dushman? Al Dushman began serving as the Donald W. Reynolds Professor of Business Journalism in January 2011. Here, he taught courses on business journalism, magazine, writing, and multimedia reporting. He created and started teaching in 2012 a course called Narrative: The Art of Storytelling. He has been a columnist for GQ and a contributing editor at Vanity Fair and New York Magazine. His articles have been published in New York Times Magazine and the Wall Street Journal. He has appeared as a commentator for NBC's Today Show in documentaries on CNN, CNBC, and the Discovery Channel. Dushman has written The Second Coming of Steve Jobs, A Tale of Two Valleys, Change or Die, Walk the Walk, and How Steve Jobs Changed Our World. Who is Peter Senge? He is the director of the Systems Thinking and Organizational Learning program at MIT's Sloan School of Management, a founding partner of Innovation Associates in Massachusetts. He has introduced thousands of managers to the disciplines of the learning organization through the seminars offered by Innovation Associates, Ford, Digital, Apple, Procter & Gamble, AT&T, Herman Miller, Hanover Insurance, Royal Dutch Shell, and other major corporations. Why did I choose Change or Die to compare or contrast with the Fifth Discipline? The book Change or Die and the Fifth Discipline both are books that are teaching the reader how to achieve change. They have similarities and differences of how to approach helping someone to change. And Change or Die is one of my favorite books from the ALSI program. The big idea of Change or Die is to help someone change, you need to use what Dushman calls the 3 R's. The first R is relate. Relate to them by having a conversation with them explaining that you have been through the same issues. The second R is repeat. Repeat the process of changing to form a habit. The third R is reframe. And this is when you have them picture themselves reaching their goal. Do not use the 3 F's, which are when you try to change someone by scaring them with fear, listing facts of why they should change, or trying to force them to change. The book, The Fifth Discipline, its big idea is you must look at the big picture when making decisions, which is systems thinking. A vision must be in place. Also, this book is full of disabilities that teams may have that keep them from being successful. The books had several similarities. Both books agree that a vision must be in place when working on making changes. Also, both books state that one cannot be forced when trying to get one to change. Practice or repeating is conducive for achieving change, getting into the habit of doing something. Relating or a supportive environment is important for change. Both books agreed on that. Also, both books use the quote, "People don't resist change, they resist being changed." The books had some differences. Change or Die focuses on the 3 R's and the 3 F's in order to change someone, or I should say, in order to help someone change. The 5th discipline shares many strategies for making changes in teams. For example, using openness, localness, mental models, personal mastery, shifting the burden, or limits to growth. Both books explain that it is important to focus on what you want to achieve. However, the 5th discipline says not to focus on what you don't want. For example, when you may hear of an anti-drug campaign, or like the DARE program that's teaching kids not to do drugs. It would be better to focus on a positive. And the 5th discipline talked about meditation, or getting in touch with spirituality in order to be successful. The STAR moments for Change or Die are: to help someone change, you need to use the 3 R's. Relate to them by explaining that you have been through similar issues. Repeat the process of changing in order to form a habit. And reframe by having them picture reaching their goal. Do not use the 3 F's, which are fear, facts, and force. Also, from the book Change or Die, a STAR moment to me was when it talked about doctors telling heart patients that if they don't change their lifestyle, they are going to die. And 9 out of 10 heart patients didn't do anything about it, is what the book was saying. So even though you're told that you're going to die, sometimes that's not enough to help you change. So that was interesting to me. When prisoners got out of prison, many ended up having to go back. So this book talks about that people get out of prison and then most of them have to go right back because they don't have the support that they need. Mimi Siebert came up with Delancey Street, which started with drug addicts, convicted felons, and gang members. Instead of staying at the prison, they stayed in a community together. And she gave them jobs working in her restaurant, and basically used the 3 R's to rehabilitate them. And by doing that, when they did get to leave, most of them did not have to go back to prison because they had been through that support group. STAR moments from the 5th discipline. Shifting the burden. That resonated with me because, for example, I take blood pressure medicine and I am shifting the burden, apparently, because instead of solving the real problem of exercising and changing my diet, I am trying to solve it by just taking the blood pressure medicine, which in the long run is not good. Mental models. Be careful how you perceive things based on your mental models. If someone is quiet and doesn't speak up much in a group, like in group work at school or in the college setting in a group, that doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't prepared. Maybe they are shy, they're having trouble interrupting to share. A team's IQ is greater than an individual's IQ. I loved that one. Balancing inquiry and advocacy in a meeting. This means that you're open for people inquiring about your idea, and it's okay for you to inquire about their idea. Also, you must have a balance of inquiry and advocacy in order to create dialogue, which is conducive to making good decisions. Personal vision. To do well at something and be happy, you must do it because it is your personal vision, which comes from within. pushback for the books. Change or Die. Growing up, my mother used fear, facts, and force to keep us safe. I believe that they could be a possible way to create change. She used fear a lot, like that will hurt you, that could kill you. So I'm not sure if that was exactly healthy. The fifth discipline. I believe that when saying that a team member's IQ is higher than an individual's, that it depends on the makeup of the team. You could have a group of individuals that make some really poor decisions. For example, a group made up of survivors, as Muhammad calls them. Recommendations for teachers or leaders. I think teachers and leaders should read both of these books. When working in teams, it is important to know how to have good dialogue, appropriate conflict, trust, systems thinking, etc., like the fifth discipline discusses. When trying to convince someone to change, it is important to know how to do that, like the book Change or Die teaches, using the 3 R's, not the 3 F's. And that wraps it up for Change or Die versus the fifth discipline. And I thank you for your time.